Welcome back, friends, to EU League. G2 Esports versus Team Secret is our next game. G2 still in the running for Berlin, and it's just across the street from their office. Of course, we'll be in...
What are you doing? I was vibing to the music before we went live, the intro music. I was like, this is such a vibe, but I couldn't stop.
So many things wrong with you.
I'm just gonna, all of us, to be honest, we do work here, and we chose it. But as I was saying, what is your favorite song actually out of all the ones that we have here at the EU League? Because we've got Toxic Avenger, who makes her wonderful music that we get to use. I really love the Robots Do It Better.
Yeah.
Mine is with the Thermite one, but I can't say the words.
No. No. Definitely not. None here. Not yet, at least. But, friends, let's talk about our matchup. Because, like I was saying, G2, all they got to do is just keep on winning, getting extra points, and then they can just walk across the street from their office in Berlin, go to Potsdamer Theater, and then they're good to go.
It's gone from G2 looking like the worst team in the league to, well, maybe there's a chance to... Actually, if we win today, it's probably in our own hands. And I'll be honest, I have no idea how they've got there. But they finally started putting some wins together. 3 wins in their last 4 against Na'Vi, Pones, and Outsiders. And to be honest, there's been a little bit of change at G2 as well. We've seen from the comm videos, and we've spoken to G2 a little bit, is that Prano's not taking more of a leadership communication role in the team. It's actually Citizen that's taking more of a, not an IGL role, but a vocal voice, the constant voice that's talking to the team, which it isn't necessarily known that Yfinka as Army main would be on that type of role. But for G2, it seems to be working out. We know how good this team is. It's the team of superstars. It's all that, all the rest of it, the next super team, the next dynasty, all of that. They've got the potential, and they've put themselves in a situation where they could go on and go to Berlin, and that was unimaginable.
The best thing I see with Ben being the in-game leader for G2 right now is actually...
Ben is Citizen. You just call him Ben.
We know big
your friends like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
People call them by themselves. I call Jack. And
he's a psychomaniac.
Yeah. No, but the best thing I see with it is that we have had an issue with Citizen, and I think it's something that everyone have been seeing, is that he's been baiting his team quite a lot, and he's always the last guy alive. And now that he's more of a leadership position, he needs to kind of lead from the front, right? That's what the leader does.
He takes ownership of it.
Exactly.
Right?
A leader takes, well, the responsibility of the team. You cannot be the last guy ever on anymore. So there are more things than just that I see that are going to be positives for G2.
Well then, Secret on the other side, and even Alems was describing them as a team that you can never predict how they're gonna play in the game. They'll always come out with a surprise, and honestly, Team Secret, they've had some successes that nobody expected.
Nobody expected. I don't know about that. I think that they have a good team, and they do have a playstyle that gives them the opportunity to do a lot of new things that people don't expect. They have players that are very mechanically talented. It's just about getting those 5 players to gel together, and I think that they have started taking the steps in the right direction. They looked very lost in the beginning of the stage, and after that, they've kind of just stepped up on everything. I think that the win against Wolves, while I say Wolves kind of underestimated them, Secret played well. They had new things. They pulled up a strat book that nobody had seen them do before.
Secret have kind of done Secret things. You know, they took who did they beat first? Whether they shouldn't have beaten. They took Heroic. Sorry, they took Heroic to Bank, which was an off-map pick. Then they took Wolves to Chalet, and then Pones. But in those 3 games that they've won, they've controlled most of the rounds in those games. Even the Pones game, where it was a bit 50-50.
All right, let's see which map we're going to be playing on for this series. Again, G2, they need a victory in all 3 points if possible. You want to make sure that you have control. Come on, let's pull it up. We got 9 maps.
I'm checking my notes.
And which one will it be? We're going to go to Oregon, a classic one here. Clubhouse will be banned out by Team Secret. And starting on Oregon, they'll be on the attack. G2 have picked up defense. Jack.
So I don't think the teams expected this. I think Secret have done what they did to Heroic, where Secret go to a very low preference map to try and catch a team off. Oregon is Secret's 9th preference map. If they've gone to it, it's because they've planned to go to it. They played it against Rogue. They didn't look particularly good when they played it then, so I hope they've made some improvements.
Yeah, as well as because G2 have been struggling in their attacks, and now they allow G2 to start defense on Oregon. It could go either way this game. It's very hard to call because both teams are on the way up.
There's actually pressure on both teams, right?
Yeah.
Because Secret is in a relegation, and G2 can have a sniff at the major.
I'm just looking out for Kendrew lurking, and because honestly, I love watching Kendrew. His lurk play is incredible, but also Titan, Secret's coach, might have pulled out a 9 million IQ play there with the map ban. So let's see how it all comes down for Secret. Fresh Fabian, thank you very much, gentlemen. Secret versus G2, on to our casters. Ace and Des, enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milosh. We are just seconds away from getting into this one. Me and Des are going to take you through G2 versus Secret. Des, low preference map for Secret. Could Oregon hurt them?
Maybe. They chose to come here, though, is the one big thing I'm looking at, Tim. And looking at G2, they haven't touched this map since, I want to say the Major, they played it at a couple of times, but I know Stage 1, they played it 3 or 4 times back then. They haven't touched it in Stage 2. So there are plenty of surprises potentially on the horizon from G2. My only concern is Secret, like you say, also not really a high pref map for them. Could be a real scrappy affair to see whether or not G2 managed to fight their way into that top 4, or if Secret pull themselves even further ahead of Pones in the battle for relegation.
I always look at Oregon and I kind of think, you know, it's never a bad map for a team that's been struggling. It's a simple map. You're looking at basics. It should be, you know, pretty easy to steady the ship on it. The problem with that is that we're looking at 2 teams that are in that position. Secret obviously getting some better results recently, same as G2, but both teams that have struggled this stage. So they could both be in need of that moment, really, and you know they may find it here. And what we might end up with, rather than 2 of the bottom teams playing each other, we might actually get a surprisingly good game. You know, we might get performances a little above and beyond what we've seen so far.
I just recall G2's game against Na'Vi back in Stage 1, Tim.
Don't
it was
recall
not
that
a pretty affair.
Don't recall that
It
one.
was not a pretty affair. So I'm really hoping, with all that's gone on in the last 3 months, the boys have got some improvements for us here today. Bans flying on through, Thatcher to kick things off, and then Ying being taken away by Secret.
We'll get on to the defender bans now. Secret going to take our first one away as I speak. It's going to be Valkyrie, and then we'll likely see, I will give a guess at Mirror for our final defender coming in from G2. That being said, G2 have done some funky banning lately on the here and there.
Not today, I imagine. Okay.
I wouldn't go as
Just
far
mean-
as funky, but it's not expected.
Where would you put it? It's like going to Nando's and not getting like hot or anything. It's like getting like lime and whatever it is.
I mean, you could put it in the range of cheeky. If we, you know, if we're gonna talk about that, you could put it.
Would
in
I ever
a
find
cheeky
myself
ban.
saying the words "a cheeky" were my ban? Probably not, to be honest. No. Is he cheeky? Oh, I don't know. He seems like a pretty straight up kind of guy. I don't think he's.
He does have a very stern look about him.
He does, yeah. It's the kind of guy you want me on a night out there and look after you.
I'll be honest with you, Des. I think any of the operators would probably be able to boast that quality.
They keep your eat, mate. They keep your eat. Ralph first coming in then is going to be Meeting and Kitchen to kick things off. Let's see how things shape up. No Ossa yet being repicked in by Team Secret. Normally is the go-to for this site. We'll see if a change comes through on that way. If not, I imagine you'll see quite a bit of focus coming out towards the west side of the map instead. Take control of top, get control of the verticals inside a kitchen, and then look to go for a plant.
Okay, we're going to Meeting. Interestingly, the Meeting hatch has been reinforced by G2. We see it both ways, but we quite often will see the Meeting hatch left open, because obviously then if there's a plant attempt on rear stage, there's always the possibility of a Nitro from below. You've got Virtue with Nitro in hand. Just saying. We'll see whether that has an impact later in the round. The problem with leaving that open is it sort of signals that you're playing somebody underneath, and they can be quite easy to track down in the basement and deal with. It's not difficult to shut that player down, but it does remove the option for G2.
It does. I like this as the kind of the spicy site pick, Tim. We'll go for spicy site pick, not operator bans or not a funky
I can go with
site
that,
pick,
yeah,
but it's still up there. You already have like a funky pick on this map though in terms of sites. They're all pretty viable. Either way, as I said, it's all about this top floor clear to kick things off. I like how they've gone to a slightly, air quotes, not normal site for the first one as well. Just to keep Secret on their toes, so you keep them guessing about the sort of things that they can pull off. But now at least, G2, very liberal control, very free to move around this top floor. You got Savage trying to put some pressure in through Trophy here, but the 3 members of G2 that are roaming up on the top floor, so far not really looking all that threatened.
Alamau just holding down one of those positions that we've seen from him time after time over the last few weeks. I'm thinking particularly to Master Bedroom on Cafe. He's playing there and he's not going to be moved. Slebin, however, is going to move Doki. Manages to find that opening kill. That's a big start for Secret. Alamau will not be moved, but he will be killed. Manages to get the trade. It is with Savage. That leaves us in a 4v3. That's heavy losses for G2, to be honest, on that top floor. Only one man down, and Secret have got 2 out of 3 dead up on the top floor. That's big from them.
And there's another one as well as Prano. Not really sure about swinging onto White Van. You know there's someone going to be there. There is every single round, seemingly without fail. But swinging there in a spot where you're already down a man, it's a big risk play. You get that kill, you equalise things at 3-3, and they lose control of Armory side. Good on you. You die, you leave your team in a 4 versus 2, and sadly, it has not worked out in G2's favour.
Slebin just holding that tight angle onto Pit. Secret just slowing down a little bit here. There's a minute left to go. And that's not the end of the world. They've got time. They can, wait to cover those angles, make sure that they've got the information they need. Citizen, as you say, could be hitting them on the flank very, very soon, though. Slebin needs to be aware of that. We saw Slebin have a real match last time out on the last Playday, so he's going to be hoping for a little bit more of that action, I would have thought. For the time being, they are very conscious of that basement, as I said, Team Secret, but to a degree, the hatch isn't open, so the impact that G2 can have from down there is pretty limited. Kendrew sending a nade under that barricade and might just look to push on into site here. 30 seconds left to go. They're going to have to do something.
Oh, Citizen's got himself in such a good spot there as well to have the vertical. The thing is, Kenny might be looking to try and go for a plant here elsewhere, and that single shot is all the info that Virtue needs, but sure enough, a call came through. Great coordination from Secret. Citizen on the drop is now waiting for that plant to start going down, and here it goes. The longer angle coming in from dining side, I think that was, gets the shutdown, saves inside a kitchen, closes things out.
Great round from Team Secret, well worked. G2 I don't think will mind too much. We do consider meeting as a little bit of an offsite, a tertiary choice usually. G2 just trying to maybe throw it out there nice and early and see if a curveball worked to get them around, but it didn't. Secret standing up to the test pretty well. I like the work that they did on top floor. I said at the time they lost Savage, that was it. They took out Alamau, took out Doki, left Citizen in a tough position, and also made it very difficult for the site to be defended. We saw them then using that verticality to find the kills inside of sight from the attic hatch. It was really well played from Secret, nice and coordinated, nice and organised, and they head into round 2 where they will be attacking Laundry and Basement with a nice little 1-0 lead.
Absolutely. Let's see how they can take things in round 2 then. G2. This is one of those maps that I look at and just think, again, 4-2, 3-3 sort of split at the half. 4-2 that is being in towards the defenders. Not in a bad spot at all, I don't think. If Secret start running away with this and find 2 or 3 rounds here on the bounce, there best be an early timeout coming in from G2. I've really enjoyed seeing teams get through 3 rounds and being like, right, now we call the tactical timeout because we know we've got another quarter of the game to get into. I do really think we need to speak more about how the game does get split into these quarters where you play your 3 sites and you rotate back through them again. That second kind of attempt at each site is a chance to really improve and refresh on things, which is why I think the round 3 timeout is the one to go for if you find yourself falling behind more than 1 round in that first quarter.
Virtue's waiting desperately for that peek at rear stage door, but I'm not sure it's going to come. He's just holding on, but Slebin's going to go around the rear side, so shouldn't be too much at risk there. And Virtue at 30 seconds into the round has surely got to make the decision to give that one up and to move away, because otherwise he might find himself just getting stuck away from those rear stage stairs, but he has taken the couple of steps that he needed. Slebin just going to take a little while. You can climb up the ladder with the drone. It takes a little bit of specific work there, but Slebin does it. He can check out T3, knows that it's safe, so he'll go all the way into the top, and we'll see whether Virtue makes a challenge onto him or not.
All right, well, better safe than sorry. Getting a drone up there, just to make sure no one is lurking, would be absolutely correct. Just want to be careful here, any C4s potentially coming in from below. That said, no C4s in the back pockets. Actually, only Virtue had one. Normally you'd see a muted one, for example, but here, the double bulletproof just a little bit too valuable to not bring along.
Savage continuing his work there to try and find entries. We're going to have a little bit of a spectator issue there as Slebin comes in. I'm sure it looked correct on his screen, not ours. Slebin going to be back on the draw.
Trying to star in the new Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, just go through the walls. Don't bother opening them up.
The walls bend for me.
Slebin is, I'm a little bit concerned, drawn in for himself a lot at this point in time. It was a criticism that I made of other teams in the early weeks of this stage, and it really slows teams down potentially. You're always reacting to information that's sort of 20 seconds old, and you're having to stop drawn, and it really can break your flow as an entry player. So I'd maybe prefer to see Secret have somebody working with Slebin. He's on the thinker. Give him every opportunity to get in and win those fights.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the Finker not being open here, we saw this back in map 2 where it was banned away by Rogue. You know, when it is on side, it can just be so ridiculously oppressive. I speak about it a lot. That juice comes through, the LMG's like whizzing away. You've got everyone juiced up with a bit more HP. ADS time is quicker. You just become far more lethal. When you come off the back of a fight with that extra bit of padding as well, you're getting then healed up straight by the Finker afterwards as well. It's just such an oppressive operator to play behind. Throwing the Gon 6, the nades as well. She really does do everything. So it's very understandable why she's drawing so many bans around the world at the moment.
30 seconds left to go. Savage has got himself down to the bottom of Laundry here. I'm not sure how aware G2 are, but G2 must be feeling fairly comfortable at the minute. They've got all 5 alive, just locked in sight. They've got highway presence. They've got Shaiko presence. They've got everything that they need here to hold on to this site, and it's starting to get very difficult now for Secret. They tried to push forward. Citizen finds Kendrew for the opener. Savage, Sleben, they managed to get one apiece. 3v3. It's turned into an absolute bloodbath though. 2v2 as Sleben once again steps up and does the work, but ultimately it's Virtue and Alamar who can find those final kills, and G2 hold on, proving that with 5 alive left on site and 30 seconds, it was just too much for the attackers.
Yeah, it's good trade play as well, actually. I think from both teams in the early part of that attack, but Kendrew kind of made the big play, right, when trying to push around through the rotate, not aware. I think there was a man inside a cubby. It was Citizen. Or if he was aware, he clearly wanted to try and take the 1v1 to catch him by surprise. And then we had that sort of tit for tat, trade for trade, all the way through, right up to the very end with it, even with Alamar having his back covered by Virtue from the long angle, so he could focus on Freezer itself. So good team play from G2 goes to show that all that we saw last week isn't yet lost. Still every possibility they can do this.
You can see there our qualifying probabilities brought to you courtesy of Spravuni as always at the bottom. Regulation win 39%. So G2, if you'd have said at the beginning of the stage there was an opportunity for them to have nearly, and I might be stretching nearly a little bit, but a 50-50 shot coming into the final week of qualifying for the major, it's not a million miles away. You know, if you said that after stage 1 and 2 and the performance, Playday 1 and 2 and the performances that we saw out of G2, I'll be honest, I'd have laughed at you. G2 have got not a real opportunity, but they've got an opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? It's one of those coming into today that a number of teams have kind of had that outside chance, and the results so far have been, there's no other way of putting it, and they've been absolutely batshit. Like, I just cannot comprehend how crazy the games have been throughout the day, but it really does make for a potential spicy last day. I was calling for G2 to win today, Heroic to win today, it to then come down to G2 versus Heroic for the spot on the final day. But it's like, while the two main characters are about to go head-to-head, you've just got sheer chaos happening in the background all around them as well. There's so many teams still in with a chance of making the major that it almost feels like G2 is one of the side stories now to everything else that's going on.
Sleben this time does have information ahead of him. It's going to be Kendrew and Keenan drawn in for him, just clearing out that dining side. They know there's going to be somebody in and around kitchen, so they're trying to find out what's going on. Kendrew's drawn, likely getting... No, he's managed to avoid the mute jammer there. Very well played. Gets himself into kitchen. That's impressive stuff from Kendrew. Will be able to spot out for Sleben that the player has moved away. It's Virtue who's reinforced himself into security now, really wanting to keep hold of that security side, because what they're trying to do there is have Virtue able to deny anybody trying to come in through double window. So step 1 for Team Secret is going to be to get rid of the mute, and Keenan is going to get himself up onto the double window ready, but can't really do too much other than hold the angles until they've got rid of the mute.
It's really interesting because think about the mutes normally that you'd see with a rotate through in towards kitchen, for example, and you play the north side door, you'd swing back onto security door. He's locked himself into, he's only got one focus. His only way out is through the single door in towards Zulu, or it's down through the hatch. That's all he's got to play with, but it does mean his focus is a little bit more, well, focused in towards those two areas, mainly out in towards Zulu and the bottom of white. Prana coming in for the swing, air jab, sees the drone and gets shot. That is just relatable siege to a T, Tim.
It really is. You just know, you can see what's going to happen before it comes, and Prano is going to bite the dust.
Oh.
But I commented on Virtue. He's not been dealt with, and he gets himself a kill on Kendrew, but Sleben can go in straight away and make that frag happen, get the trade, and keep Team Secret in this. 4v3, they're slightly on top of things. They've now got access through the double window, but Doki has dropped underneath and could be a problem on the warden here. Savage finds Alamau. Doki has to go, and he has to go now. He's going to find the kill onto Sleben. 3v2 and G2 are holding on. Only barely though. A Citizen gets taken down. Doki as well as he tries to return back to site. And it's as easy as that for Team Secret.
Yeah, despite getting stabbed in the back there by Doki, still managed to have enough numbers on site. They can just overpower the members of G2. And even with a bit of a whiffed execute as well, thinking about it, when they went vaulting in through the window, well, they were getting shot off towards the side. They had no real response. Same on the downstairs. Virtue got a kill back. So Secret really have walked in there and lost 3 members basically guaranteed from the off, yet still managed to pull around back despite those disadvantages. I don't know if that's them showing really good grit and tenacity, or G2 showing they can't close the round out where they get these small little advantages that really start to build up as the round goes on.
I think, you know, we've seen problems for G2 throughout the stage. Like you say, I'm not taking the win away from Secret, but I think, you know, there is also an element of G2, like you say. The big thing about G2 for me when we talk about advantages is they just can't keep hold of them for long enough. They'll get themselves, like you say, a nice kill onto double window there, but then immediately lose Virtue and immediately find themselves on the back foot and having to think of another plan straight away, rather than having that time to soak it up, to say, right, actually, Team Secret are under some pressure now because they've lost the man coming in through double window. We've still got somebody in that position and there's nothing they can do about this. You know, that's really what you're looking for from that, and it's just unfortunate they never seem to be able to grasp onto those opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, let's see if Doki's ratting around the map continues here. Doesn't matter whether it's on attack or defense, he always seems to be the man off doing his, not so much doing his own thing sometimes, but if they want someone to go and pull off a flank or to hit someone on the side, Doki's your man to volunteer for the job, and often ends up finding himself running in towards drones and so on. Or sometimes you'll find Citizen on things like Iana being the one to go off and make those kinds of plays. So keep an eye out for both of them here, and really, I want to see Prano not getting picked off so comfortably. I know last round was a bit unfortunate, but even prior to that, died a little bit easy on the swing onto the white van back in round 1. Want to see him a little bit more composed here, and there's Doki onto Saves, old teammate, bringing him down and then backing his way back down towards the site.
Beautiful little pre-fire from Doki there. Obviously knew that he was on the rappel and just took him straight off it as well. So 5 versus 4 as G2 have got the advantage, and this is exactly what we're talking about, Des. G2, you've got the advantage. You've taken the man off rear tower. You're going to make it difficult now for them to come in through attic. That's a good advantage. Can they keep hold of it? If they lose the next man, if they lose that kill and allow Team Secret back to 4v4, maybe even lose another one after it, 4v3, then you start thinking they've thrown away that advantage again, and that's something that G2 need to focus on here. For the time being, Team Secret, they're getting themselves established. They're in master bedroom, they've got the closet open, not bad work from them. Sleben underneath, he's a key part of this, as is Prano.
Prano's going for a similar sort of play. I think he's got to be so careful, but does Sleben even know? I think they have no idea he's here at the minute, but will just about swerve around them as well. Prano not even going to move his feet at this point, just holding the angle out towards Zulu for when someone comes pushing down. So Secret, got to be very mindful of that. And Doki, again, just by a couple of pixels, missing an opportunity to get a freebie there on towards the armory stairs. I'm wondering if he gets a chance to strike here. Stepping on the push-up, Kendrew finds one. Now will Prano strike? Yes, he does. Up he comes and gets his man. No doubt looks towards the left here for the second, but wasn't expected in crouch in the corner. It's an easy trade out.
Prano there just giving his life up to that trade after getting the kill onto Sleben, and well played from Secret. A good reaction from them. Keenan manages to get Citizen, and we find ourselves now in a 3v1 for Team Secret.
This.
They're able to start thinking about getting the diffuser down. Virtue's trying to fight back from security, but he's just being absolutely pinned in there at the minute. I think it was by Keenan on the bottom of White Stairs, and now diffuser has been planted successfully by Kendrew. It's 3v1 and Virtue has got it all to do. He's looking for the first. That's all he can do, is try to take these 1v1, but no, Kendrew shuts him down, and that is going to be Virtue closed out, and G2 losing another round. Secret 3-1 now.
I love the adaptation in that round as well from Secret, just identifying, look, Virtue's stuck. He has to come out the door or drop into basement. Either way, he's screwed. Just let him stay put. We'll hear if he shotguns out the hatch. We'll know if he's going to drop. There's not really much he can do there if we're not going to try and plant above his head. So let's go and plant, for example, inside of kids. Let's try and bring it out towards concrete. There's nothing he can do. And I love the little decision-making at the end from Secret as well. They could have sat and held that angle on that door forever and potentially risk getting traded, or even have Virtue get the kill and then press up White with a man down. What they instead was, okay, look, we've taken the fight, we've taken a bit of damage here, let's get back on site. There's 3 of us, there's 1 of him, we can play for trades all day long. Why risk trying to play for KD when you can lock around down very comfortably? That showed really good discipline from Team Secret.
It was really good from them. I've got to bring up a moment for G2 as well. Coming into that, you know, we commented, and I keep going on about this, but their ability to hold on to advantages that they get. Prano comes up Armory Stairs, gets a kill onto Sleben. He then chooses to aggress forward into Trophy, looking for more. He loses his life, another kill goes down at the same point, and within 5 seconds, G2 go from hitting somebody on the flank and having a man advantage to being in a man disadvantage situation with nobody on the flank anymore. And that, for me, is a little bit of a problem. Obviously, it is always difficult for me to sit here and say about an ebb and flow of a round and was it the right time to be aggressive. But for me, if Prano doesn't push Trophy at that time, Secret can't ignore it because they know he's on the flank. They know he's in Armory Corridor or potentially the bottom of main stairs. There's nobody else underneath to deal with him, so that completely takes a gun that has to keep looking after Trophy Door, or a drone has to be repositioned. It wastes 20 seconds. Something has to be done about that flank. But by going straight in through the door and losing that trade out immediately, nothing needs to be done about it. Problem is removed by the people hoping to create the problem.
Absolutely. You know there's going to be a second player there. There's no way a single man tries to push his way through Trophy that early in the round. If you're going to try and play through there solo, like we sometimes used to see Shaiko do on this map, you wait for the backstab. You wait until the last 30 seconds when your team is executing on big window or pushing down attic. That is when you make your play. So maybe a little bit of a mystery there. Maybe getting a bit of insistence wouldn't have been a bad thing for Prano, but instead was left a little bit out to dry there as the solo man. Just one of those things where you are losing out in the 1-for-1. Now let's see how things shape up though, because Secret, Slebman already being taken down. I was going to say, Secret here are really on a roll, but with taking a fit of the wind out of their sails and bringing down the Finker, no complaints if you're Citizen.
It's a good start. Slebman's been having a good game so far as well. You can see, along with Savage, leading the way in terms of frags for his team and continuing that performance that we saw him have in the last Playday. So definitely a good start for G2. Team Secret getting in here quickly though. Look at them, established inside of dining. They're looking to get a big breach opened into that kitchen wall, which is interesting because it's going to cut the site in half if they're able to achieve that. All it's going to take is a nade in there, in it comes, job done, and that is going to be the wall open from dining to kitchen. Good start. There's obviously the hatch above it that they need to now work on clearing, and it's Citizen once again playing up there, and he's going to deploy that Kiba barricade to keep that closed for the time being.
It's also just kind of running straight inside and trying to bypass the hatch. Still have to go through the door, or at least blow it out. And even then, getting close to it is a risk, because that means Citizen now has an angle just around the edges of that Kiba barricade to start getting some kills. Doki peppered down to about 15 HP, far from out the round just yet, but enough of a warning sign that he now has to back away.
Keenan just going to be peeking the top of White Stairs there. Looking G2 to get a little bit aggressive. It's Alamo onto the Dorm's breach. They're really wanting to keep this top floor in their control. Virtue's going to take a step to do that with a kill onto Keenan, but Savage manages to find Alamo. That's going to free up the passage from Master Bedroom. Saves is creeping up the stairs. Surely Virtue knows he must hear him. He's got the shotgun, but Alamo's going to see him first. No, sorry, not Alamo. Saves was going to see him first. Virtue does get downed, so we're effectively 3v2 at this point, but still a good kill from Virtue.
Absolutely. Surely this numbers advantage in close this one out here as well. Citizen versus Savage, both down to just below half HP. Doki comes up for the collect. There's only the one man left alive here. It is Kendrew, and G2 will finally find their second round of the game and keep their dreams alive for Berlin.
Better from G2 there, not throwing away advantages that they got. Virtue on White Stairs, perfect example. Gets himself up there, gets the kill, does not go racing around the map, does not move himself immediately into another problem, and basically sets him up for one of the most perfect shotgun angles that you're going to find in the whole of Siege when you've got that SAS shotgun. It does not get tighter than at the top of White Stairs there. So even though he got taken down, he still secured that second kill. Smart play from G2 and much better than some of the others that we've seen.
I think what's interesting is the Secret. They're coming up against some variants of what we saw from G2 back in stage 1 as well. Like some of these strats, I haven't seen them employ before. The full lockdown inside of security. In that round just then, we had the single wall in games being reinforced out towards top whites. They could really commit to playing inside of games itself. Just smaller bends rather than large ones, but enough that I think it's had Secret asking a couple of questions throughout. I'm really curious to see how it goes on the flip side, though, because G2 are then the ones that have to problem solve and figure out ways around what Team Secret will be throwing at them when Secret are on the defensive side. Before we get there, though, one last swing of the bat down here inside of the basement.
Security going to be completely locked off by Citizen there. A couple of mute jammers as well. Prano starting with a potential little bit of a rat play here. If Secret aren't very clever and careful with the drones, if they don't check every single corner, they could find themselves in with a little problem. Virtue has been trying for a peek at the beginning of rounds for a few rounds in a row now. He's not going to stick around as long trying for this one, as the pressure does come immediately to rear stage from Team Secret, looking to get themselves straight inside of the map. He does dip away back onto rear stage. Now Prano has a decision to make. He's out there in small tower. There's nobody coming that way at the moment. How long does he hold on for? Because whilst he's there, he's leaving his team short-handed.
Keep on blasting away at these Roteros. I say so many times over, Flores is a great operator, but you will spend probably the best part of 90 seconds using all 4 of those Roteros and trying to get them round defenses and through players, for example, to get rid of crucial bits of utility. So for now, Savage can either rotate off completely or have a second bash at trying to get that Rotero down through blue, which is always going to be a risk because you're coming up against Alamal's shotgun.
Secret now in control of rear stage, able to start pushing forward into meeting. They'll be looking to get the hatch open. Just very aware there. Saves, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do if somebody is peeking from hatch, because he had the X-Kairos launcher out, so maybe he'd have thrown a few pellets their way, but does at least take a little glimpse towards. Now, Alamau, Citizen both stacking themselves up here on the rear stage, just waiting for the call from the cam there that Virtue's looking at the minute. As soon as Keenan extends too far down there, he could find himself being challenged, but as it is, Citizen Alamau thinking better of that one, dropping themselves back. Doki moving through Freezer. Prano in security for the time being. He's going to drop back, and that is now G2 all back on site and in the formation that they were when they won last time on this site.
Secret squaring up for what feels like a very late construction focus. They've still got 3 of those Roteros in back pocket. One was burnt out and they haven't bothered since. Nade comes round and just falls short of the shield as well. It stays intact. They've got Doki off towards one side there. They don't know he's here. Now they do. He's going to run away and not get himself shot in the back. Good timing.
It is Doki looking to get aggressive, going to come face to face with Keenan. We've got a little bit of an exchange, a little bit of a gun battle. Doki takes some damage there, Keenan does not, and they part there, go their separate ways, look to push again. The push comes in at the rear area. We're into bunker here. Saves is going to take down Doki, but a nice nitro from Virtue shuts down Kendrew. 4v4 now as the push through bunker continues from Secret.
Yeah, Virtue's doing work on that shield as well. It's so rough, but the nade coming in from below as well, so above, sorry, gets rid of Alamau. So 2 of those crucial players cleared out towards the north side. Doki from Pillar and Alamau, who's playing just inside of E-Box. But Virtue, a second kill comes through. The trade does land from Savage, but can they get this over the finish line, Tim? Down to the last 10 seconds or so in the 2v2. They're just going to hold firm. They've got to try and make a plan happen, but Citizen gets the kill. Keenan's left all alone. I don't see how he clutches out a 1 versus 2 here. Sees the man blind, but Citizen finds him first. G2 pull back to a 3-3.
Big round from Citizen there. Also, I don't want to miss the contribution of Virtue. Basically, the way that G2 held on to Elbow was particularly big. Like you say, Virtue with 2 kills before he was cleared out of there, dropped the diffuser as well. And then Citizen straight away saw the danger. Virtue's been taken out. We need Elbow. Steps in there, gets a kill, and continues fighting from that location. Well played, G2. They take themselves 2 in a row after the tactical timeout, obviously having a big difference. And they go into the second half, even at 3-3.
And here comes the mirror. Sade's bringing that one along. Not at all surprised to see it being brought out here on the downstairs site. Somewhat expected we might see G2 bring it in the first half, but not a mirror team, it turns out. On their side, though, look at the aggressive lineup they've got rolling in here, Tim, as well. Potentially 8 nades being brought along. You've got the Nuke for Alamau, Iana, Finker, Sledge. It just screams aggression from start to finish. Prano's sole job here is to get the hatches open, let the nades rain through, because at the end of the day, G2 banned away the Wamai with the full intent of making use of this drone utility.
Absolutely, so you'd expect to see plenty of it. There is, of course, the possibility of vertical nades later in the rounds when we see Team Secret defending upstairs. But for the time being, it's going to be all about maybe getting down to the bottom of Laundry, going to be using them into Elbow, like you say, all those places that you can make it really, really tricky. Burn out those ADSs and get involved, 8 of them to hand. So plenty to be going at. Doki straight into the map on the Finker. He's going to be moving through, and that would signify a little bit of a freezer push.
Yeah, very common to see this sort of push up to this line here as you go through, although
However,
of course Doki's now dead. Now, what you don't often see is the player that's inside of security swinging out that aggressively. Normally they hold the angle, they let you send a few drones in, you're sat behind a mute jammer, for example, but Savage has just swung out onto him there for free. The players that will do that sort of thing are players like Mowgli on walls, right? The ones who really do want to treat it like a game of ranked at point and just swing everything that comes towards them. But Doki, yeah, a drone at the feet there would have probably been good, getting it further ahead towards Zulu, for example, seeing what was coming, but pays the price for it.
Alamau just going to be holding the angle onto security, but obviously the hatch, I'm not sure if it is open or not, but playing around that at the minute, it certainly is. Savage is just going to be able to drop in there. So Alamau's time, whilst he has to stay there, they don't want to get hit on the flank. It's also maybe a little bit wasted, but no, Virtue moves very quickly to get in above him and manages to shut Savage down before he can go back to site. Alamau finds Kendrew, and a little bit of an aggressive peek at the bottom of kitchen stairs there, and Secret get punished. Find themselves now 4 versus 3 in this round with G2. A man advantage and half of the round yet to go.
just to reiterate somewhat what's at stakes here as well, G2 really need to do their utmost to get as many rounds in this game as they possibly can. If they get to this win, they end up matching up on towards Heroic. If it comes in towards next week and Heroic are on 15 points, assuming Heroic win the next game and G2 are on 12, G2 have to win in regulation and do so enough that they jump ahead of Heroic or at least tie them when it comes to round diff. They're currently -2 behind Heroic, so whatever the result of this game is going to be and next week, they've always got to make sure they're coming ahead of Heroic in that round diff. So coming down to 7-5 is arguably the worst thing that G2 can have happen.
Alamau going to continue drawing into sight. A minute left to go. G2 getting themselves established in Freezer. Virtue's working towards rear stage stairs as well. Basically, the net is tightening for Team Secret here. There's going to be fewer and fewer angles that they are safe on, but G2 need to be very cautious over that clock. Time management at the minute is going to become more and more important because they've now spent about 30 to 40 seconds without really achieving too much here. Keenan nearly gets caught out by that explosive, but will remain safe. There's still 2 left on side for G2. One comes in, Sleben able to get the kill before ducking out of the way. Keenan, he manages to find one, but he finds himself all alone as Virtue trades out both of those kills. Alamau gets the last from the freezer hole, and that is going to be G2 taking the 3rd round in a row and going ahead for the first time.
Do you think someone told Virtue that Berlin is nice at this time of year, Tim?
Honestly, Virtue has no chill today. No chill whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Dragging the team through some tough rounds as well. A big 3K there at what felt like a bit of a chaotic execute. Nades were flying, firebolts were coming through, players were swinging, and then out of nowhere, Virtue got a 3K. Fantastic. Really good way to hold it down there for G2, and they pull ahead for the first time in this game.
Going to be heading this time, Team Secret, up to the top floor to dorms. They don't want to double down on laundry and basement. They're going to give it a go elsewhere. They know that they can't let this G2 team get too far ahead of them. As you say, G2 have got an awful lot to play for. I won't say an awful lot more than Team Secret. They've obviously got one eye now on the relegations towards the end of our overall season and those bottom places, wanting to avoid them. So it's still important for them to get as many points as possible. But for G2, this is just going to feel oh so much more important because it's so much more immediate, so much more urgent. Like you say, they win here, depending on that heroic game, even with the heroic game, there's still an opportunity for them. It puts them on 12 points. M&M are on 15. They're in catching distance. There's real possibilities then for G2, which they couldn't even dream of in Playday 1 and 2. So if they get close, 5-3, 6-3, you feel like they probably take it over the line quite quickly.
The scariest thing is for M&M, I guarantee they're bricking themselves. They just watched Pones beat Rogue, and that's who M&M play next week. Imagine Pones don't do super well for like the majority of the stage. The last 2, they come out looking like champions. It'll be mortifying for M&M if they fall short next week, but we'll find out if that's exactly how that place boils down, or how that piece boils down. Shield has got a trophy being taken out here quite comfortably. G2 playing things quite sensibly, at least for now, off on the drones, finding out exactly what's going on, and just picking out exactly what the next step's going to be.
They know now that one was playing inside a game, so Citizen is having a think about just popping a little nade in there. Not going to have any success. Doki already established inside a master bedroom here. And again, coming from G2 is this multi-sided push. We saw it last time out on Laundry Basement. Virtue was pushing rear. We had a push into Freezer. They like to get presence on multiple sides of the site, and that's continuing here as they try to push rear stage. They've got Doki going in from the master side. The drone does come in, and hopefully for G2 will spot out saves. They need to. There he is. They see him on top of the pillar. He's going to drop away, but he might just get himself caught here. There's pressure straight away from the windows, but somehow saves. No, I was going to say, just manages a great escape, but leave it, Saves. Just leave it alone. It's not worth your life. They've now got his life and access into Attic. Great start from G2.
Probably bit off a little bit more than he could chew at that point. Probably wanted to try and recreate what Doki did back on his defense when he was here. Killed saves on the rappel, reinforced the wall, then got back on towards site. Probably felt at that point, he's like, guys, I have to reinforce the wall. It is so critical. Kendrew also feeling the same here, and just in good time as well, as we just had Doki step inside a bedroom. That could have gone horribly wrong.
That's it, Doki maybe just missing an opportunity there. As you say, it was one of those moments where you think, oh, don't lose a second man to reinforce him. But Kendrew, he gets away with it, and that's going to mean Brano's got some work to do opening up that wall. He's going to be straight in with the Hibana pellets, getting on top of that, and Citizen looking to pressure Pit, while Virtue continues to work from that rear stage side. But G2 looking pretty lethal at the minute.
Well, you see the Rotera in time. No, he won't. The little bunny hop over. Instant lock up. It lands right in front of the bulletproof. And that's now off the wall. What else can they find here? Because you can clearly see they're trying to find everything they can get rid of. I think he's using that morph information there to try and figure out what's going on down the hatch. Jumping in to see what he can find. Nothing to be found as Doki hits the deck.
Doki is going to find himself downed. Unlikely that he gets collected at this point. No Thinker on side, so it would be a case of getting hands-on, which is unlikely to happen. Virtue working from Kid's window at the minute, just trying to put pressure through the site. Savage with a big double there. Doki and Prano. Citizen, however, manages to get him on the trade. 3v3, 8 seconds left to go. Alamau's inside of sight right now. Citizen has Diffuser in hand, so he can extend the clock. Keenan has to fight his way back in. He's just going to have to wait here. He knows he needs to play this cautiously. Is he going to get his opportunity? No, he won't be able to see Citizen. The challenge comes in. They know exactly where he is. He's pushing from trophy door, but he will be the trophy as Alamau pushes around and takes his head and closes down another round for G2. 4 in a row, 5-3.
Look like synchronized ballet dancing there, Tim. Both of them springing out at the exact same time. Like, I feel for Keenan. You can be the sharpest shooter in the world. There is no way you connect onto both of those players at the same time. Really good synchronized peak coming out there from G2 in the 2v1 to close things down. And Secret, again, they started so well. They'll be kicking themselves a bit here. They're starting to let this one slip away. Just cannot seem to catch a break in the second half.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we've put Secret onto defense now. It's just really not paying off for them at the minute. You've got to wonder about the map choice. We spoke about that beforehand. It's a low preference map for Secret. They've maybe chosen it just to try and throw a spanner in the works for G2, something that they just will not have expected. But that being said, it's just not really working out for them. It's all well and good it being low preference if you don't pick it, but if it's low preference because you don't like playing it, that's maybe a different matter.
Whew. Well, haven't we got a spicy affair in our hands here, Tim? Just feel like G2 are slowly starting to pull ahead at this point, and Secret yet to find an answer back the other way. But maybe after that tactical timeout, we do start to see the bounce, because that's what they so sorely need. Once again, we're going back onto that mirror lineup here with Sage bringing it along once again. G2 so far looking mostly unchanged. Last time around, they had 8 nades on side, let's not forget. I think they swapped in and brought a Capital with hard breach gadgets to get rid of the hatches for them. And then instead opted to bring along a Maverick 2 and also had the Sledge. They had 8 nades in total in that lineup. Keen to see if they switch over and go for the same, or if that Flores is going to be brought along to deal with the shields that are brought along on the other side, of which there is one in the back pocket of Keenan.
We saw quite a lot of use of the Flores in the last round, so I think, yes, there is a good shout that Alamau will bring him, like you said, just to deal with Elbow a little bit better, a little bit quicker maybe and easier than they have been able to previously. So down to the basement we go then. Still some setup work going on as Keenan's going to be getting that last reinforcement in place. I don't think Secret will be worried about too many other walls at this point in time. They'll probably keep some in pocket, particularly for elbow wall if they choose to retreat from there. But now Doki is once again going in aggressively from small tower, this time on the Jackal, so could well be picking up information on any of those roamers.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully he's not about to walk face first into Savage. Give him a few extra tools, he'll be able to hunt him down himself, rather than, you know, walking down shower and immediately being blasted in the face. Just get them little feety weeties on the ground there. Spots out Slevin on the upstairs. He's rotating himself around up towards these attic stairs. Going to try and work his way back down here towards the basement, I imagine, and rejoin his teammates. But Prano is kind of ready and waiting. Great little vault over by Slevin to avoid that, though. It's the small details sometimes, Tim. If it ran down there nonchalantly, it'd be dead right now.
Absolutely, that, like you're saying, it is about, you know, we talk about focus, we talk about detail, and that is a great example, well picked up by yourself there. It's fine margins that can make a big difference in rounds. Now then, we're going to have the Gemini decoy taking out the laser gate there that was guarding from Freezer. We've got one, Rotero coming in that's going to take out the shield for Keenan at elbow. And no shield further back. They do have 2 in pocket, but I'm not sure where Kendrews has been placed. It's not been taken out as of yet, so I'm not 100% sure exactly where that is. Not been, but there we go. It is played inside a highway. Good spot to hold on to Freezer, but it does now leave elbow without any cover.
Yeah, it was a little bit far up, that shield. Normally they're dug in much deeper back because you do get that nice run up to be able to get rid of things like Flores drones or to catch out nades with ADSs, magnets, you name it, right? Obviously no magnets here, but it gives you that ability to stop things coming through and taking out the shield for free. As we saw in the first half, a couple of times nades just falling that little bit too far short to actually get rid of the shield itself. But here that means the 90 hold is all but rendered useless so far for the side of Secret. Kendrew is still holding super tight, but he's playing his life for this one, Tim.
He is, and that's one way that you can deal with bunker. Get yourself close up to that door and just cut the distance down, so you're going to win those shotgun fights. But for the time being, it's all all looking like electrical rear stage stairs and freezer coming out of G2 at the minute. They might have just sent a man towards laundry stairs, but nobody has appeared just yet. I'm a little bit concerned. 37 seconds left to go, and there's no real shift, no real movement in towards site at the minute. G2 almost feel like they're still relocating here. Virtue is going to look to push in through bunker, but there's going to come a point where this G2 side needs to move, and they need to push, and they need to do so together. There it is. Doki gets himself inside.
Oh, no.
Nitro catches.
Saves.
Doki's able to get the kill. On to save. Savage shuts him down in a trade. Citizen goes. 13 seconds left to go. This is an absolute bloodbath, but it's all going in G2's favour. Alamo goes big. Prano one on the way as well, and that's going to be G2 taking another round. And you've got to say, Team Secret, you had that diffuser down in the middle of sight. It was a bad Nitro throw from saves, and it just all fell apart.
I think he needs to get himself into some more dry runs, Tim. Those kind of C4s you cannot be missing at this level. Like, I know for Secret, they're arguably, well, there is a lot on the line. Relegation's a conversation in Stage 3. But those are the critical moments. Would it have changed the outcome? Maybe not massively. But essentially what's happened there is Doki is marching towards site, swung onto Saves, who is busy trying to recover a C4. Knowing someone has just stepped inside of sight, that opens up supply itself. That means 90 is then much easier to push down as well, as you saw in the closing kill of the round. And the whole thing just opens up for G2. He was the front line of defense there and has really made a big error that has cost them, not entirely the round, but a significant portion of it.
Well then, this could be Team Secret's final defence. They're going to go to kitchen and meeting to try to hold on. We've seen this done previously by G2. We saw the importance of the top floor, so I'll be expecting more of the same from Team Secret, trying to hold on up there, particularly the hatch that goes through into kitchen. We know how powerful an angle that is, especially if it comes to the late round, because often defenders will try to just flood in from down into kitchen, and it's a nice couple of cheap free kills as they do so. So Secret need to hold on, but the way G2 are playing at the minute, Des, I'm not sure that's going to be such an easy feat, because G2 are basically just winning gunfights right now. We saw it at the end there. 20 seconds left to go. They just flood into sight and win almost every one of them.
They do. There is so much still to be achieved here as well. Looking at the nades lineup once again, G2 again really leaning into that ban on the Wamai. Just nade central coming out. Not quite 8 as we saw previously, but enough that they should be netting a couple of kills with these as well. Haven't seen arguably as many as I would have liked to have seen this half, knowing that was your target ban and what it is you were trying to achieve. It is what it is, though. Kendrew holding tight with the shotgun here, looking to deny. Normally, someone will work in from below late in the round rather than in the early. We've seen the flanks come up from Freezer, for example, come up behind teams who are really heavily leaning into things like the Ossa. But no Ossa on side means maybe it's not going to be super effective.
Doki is straight away established inside of Trophy, looking to push forward, looking to apply that pressure. It's something that we've seen from him consistently through the night, has been that aggressive play, getting forward and putting himself in those positions. Alamo coming to rear stage as well. Drone just going in, reading out, leading the information on all that utility. Savage is going to get the kill onto Doki though, so that keeps top floor secure. Doki was trying to push into pit at that point and is going to lose his life. Save takes a little bit of damage, but that could be a crucial kill even this early in the round for Team Secret.
Absolutely. Prano playing in the reverse spot as well now, playing on the front door where he, if you remember earlier on in the game, swung out onto, got dome for absolute free. Working his way forwards here, must know that there is a player hanging around. Those yellow pings telling him all they need to know. They're not quite sure exactly where. Citizen coming down to join him, and Kendrew is just holding so tight here through split. This nade beautifully placed though, so well coordinated. Must have been called out by Prana for Citizen to join him for that nade to then follow through. Good bit of teamwork, but Keenan trades it straight back.
That's it, losing Virtue along the way is certainly not ideal, but Prano has got a great opportunity to get the diffuser down. Attic hatch is closed. There's nothing really that they can do about this. They're going to have to try to push through, but Citizen's got him on the cover. That's all they need is for Citizen to hold on here, and he will. That is plant secured. Now, if G2 can get themselves out of dodge, they might just be able to hold on to this. It's not going to be easy. What a shot from Prano! Right across the site onto rear stage stairs. Shut saves down with a beautiful headshot. And now, 23 seconds left for G2 to hold on here. They just need to take all comers. They need to win every single gunfight. Prano stood right on top of that diffuser. He's ready to fight tooth and nail to keep it secure, to keep it in place. We've got all the secrets stacking up. They've got to take the fights at the same time. Prano gets one, can't get another. What can Citizen do here? Gets shut down. It's up to Alamo. 1v1. Can he hold on against Sleben? Yes, he can. Alamo closes it out for G2, and that is going to be Oregon 1, and they remain in the fight for Berlin.
Yes, they do, Tim, and most importantly, it's the 7-3 +4 round differential. flawless second half as well. I said it back at the first, for Secret to be doing as well as they were is great. You've got to be so fearful of the attack inside, though. And that's exactly how things were delivered. G2, I was about to say Citizen then. G2, a transformed team on the second half, Tim. And I like what we're starting to see. We are starting to see... Hi, guys.
We're starting to see Em just moving her cup of tea.
Em and fresh. Absolutely. That's what they do between games. But no, you're starting to see more out of this G2 side. Like what we're seeing out of teams like Rogue, like Wolves, looking ferocious on the attack inside. Maybe not quite as sharp as those two teams that I just mentioned, but you're seeing the building blocks here that are going to make for such a set of fireworks against the Heroic NetSuite. I cannot wait for that game.
Absolutely. I mean, should G2 be in the running for a major spot? At this point, probably not with the start that they had, if we're being honest. There were mistakes in that game, things that they can polish, but the point is that they are getting wins on the board and they are keeping themselves in the race, and that shows great mental perseverance, and they just seem to be getting that little bit better each time. A good performance against Team Secret, especially after that tactical timeout, which I'm sure will be broken down by our analysts right after this break.